Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Cookiecast. Today on Cookiecast, it's our NFL podcast, Laces Out. Just me and Mr. Williams this week, but that's fine because we've got plenty to discuss. It's drawing to a close, I'm afraid, people. Only a few weeks left of the regular season, and then it's Super Bowl time. So here we go. This is Cookiecast, Laces Out.
There's an awful lot of noises being made there.
I'm a very noisy person. That's not true. I'm not noisy. You can lead us off, because I haven't quite finished next week.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to fast approaching the end of the season of Yorkshire's number one NFL-based podcast.
Can't believe it.
Cookiecast presents Laces motherfucking Out.
We're going to be out. We're going to be out, y'all, shortly. Speaking of out. It's one of those. I know I'm jumping ahead, but I'm proper gutted.
Out.
This week's development.
I see.
So, have you got anything that jumps out to you for this past week of the NFL 2019 season?
I think we have to start in only one place, Andrew, and that is that this week saw history made.
In New Orleans?
We have a new all-time leading touchdown pass thrower that is not named Peyton Manning.
It is true.
His name is Drewzathine. And if
Stu
she was
Breeze.
here,
Stu Breeze.
Stu Breeze is now the league's all-time leading touchdown pass thrower.
I saw this announced earlier today, and then I saw what has to be a very amusing little video. Do you remember the last time that Drew Brees broke Peyton Manning's record?
Well, he's preparing a sauce of some kind.
So he's chopping tomatoes.
He's
chopping tomatoes. So today, little video pops up. Peyton Manning chopping tomatoes. Peyton, just to let you know, Drew Brees has just broken your record.
What? He did it again?
Which one? He's like all-time touchdown passer. It's like, all right, cool. And then he's like, but I've still got I can't even think which one it was. I've still got that other record. And he's like, he's about to break that one as well. He's like, what? So then he turns to the camera and is like, seriously though, Drew, congratulations, well done. I've held that record for 1,000 days, and then you come along and beat it. It's really upsetting for me. All this, that, and the other. He's like, genuinely, well done though. And then he's just like, and congratulations for the next record, because I'm a very busy man chopping these tomatoes, and I can't be doing these videos all the time. I was just like, that is genius. Honestly. Yeah. I think I like Peyton Manning more now than I did when he was playing football.
He seems to have developed a personality, which is weird. Yep, so obviously last night in America, in the New Orleans Saints versus the Indianapolis Colts game, I think that was quite nice as well, in the fact that it came against a team that Peyton had played for.
Yeah.
So it was almost like he sort of took it off him in a game that probably would have meant more to him anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, Drew Brees sets the record for all-time passing TDs with number 540. So there you go.
Isn't it?
So yeah, 540 passing touchdowns.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I have something from this week
Yes, Andrew.
that I believe we spoke about yesterday, which I tagged you in. I imagine it's going to pop up in the stats.
Right.
So I don't want to shoot my load too soon.
You did tell me something. I didn't comment on this before.
Tom Brady
Yes.
yards versus
Yep.
Lamar Jackson.
We'll come to that.
I had a very busy day, and I was only in a position to see the stats had been delivered to our mailbox. I haven't read the individual stats. I did look at how many there were. Holy smokes! Every week I'm like, oh, there's just more and more stats. I'm just trying to get through these stats, and then this week it's like. I've also realised that I don't have the guests' picks for the week, so hopefully they'll come through shortly.
So we'll sort something out if we need to.
Obviously, it's one of those. This is the point where, AFC, NFC leaders and things get settled. Obviously, the 49ers had a bit of a little punt to the Stones.
That will absolutely make it into the stats.
Definitely will. I'd seen a load of stuff over the course of the week of people just saying that the seeding in the NFL is madness. We've discussed it.
It needs to change, but I had a look at something the week we discussed it. I actually did have a quick look at something, and it did come up that it's been raised in previous off-season meetings and things like that, and apparently Roger Goodell, the commissioner, was very quick to shoot it down. In that it was a case of, listen, we're up for making rules to make the game better, blah blah blah. But one thing we're not in discussions to change at the moment is the way that the seeding system works for the end of the season, because we've found a system that we think works the best and offers incentives to teams to compete within their own division as well as the league as a whole. So it was like, right, but every year you're going to end up with one division that's absolutely dross, like this year's NFC East. No. NFC. Oh, maybe it is the NFC. Yeah, it is the NFC East. This season's NFC East, where you're potentially going to end up with a team going into the playoffs that's at 500, and that's it. And then you're going to get a team that's potentially going to miss out on the playoffs at 9-7. So, but we had the situation last year with the Chargers.
Me being such a skeptic around things would just immediately jump to, but where's that? Where is the pressure coming from on that one? I can't imagine people like Belichick don't have anything to say about it. I know that Jerry Jones.
The thing with Belichick is that for him it shouldn't really matter, because it's at least 10 seasons in a row where they've had 10 wins or better. So
was it 9 out of the last 10 they've had 10 or better?
I think it's every season. I don't know what there was the season where Brady missed the whole season, but I still think they ended up with a winning record. I have to double check it, but I don't think he's ever had a losing record as the Patriots manager. Not Patriots manager, Patriots head coach. But it's very rare that the Patriots they've not been outside the top 2 seeds in the AFC for the past 6 seasons?
Well, at least.
So they've had the bye
every
single season for the past 6, at least that I can remember.
Yep.
So you would imagine that if they did make a change to the seedings, he probably wouldn't be that bothered, because they'd still have enough wins to quantify him as a top seed anyway. But
I suppose the question then becomes, is he trying to protect his future because there's a higher chance that Brady will go before him?
Possibly.
Because, there's that thing.
There's always loads of conspiracy theories about like it's going to be Brady's last year, it's going to be Belichick's last year. There's always talk of does he want does he want to go out having one go at trying to win it all with the Giants, because he still holds the Giants in a massively high regard from when he was an assistant coach to Bill Parcells.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, they always speculate that Belichick and Brady will go at the same time. The difference being is that Belichick isn't taking hits week in, week out.
true.
I imagine that Brady will go first, and I suspect that could just purely be through injury.
Well,
He
I would have
hasn't
thought
seemed as bulletproof this season as he has previous seasons.
He's making a lot more gestures of why you're not on the route that you should be on, or why you're not in the position you should be to receive the ball. There's always you listen to little things and you always hear this stuff about there's certain pattern. In fact, there was something covered on a podcast I listened to the other week where it said certain quarterbacks have to see the receiver in a certain portion of the route before they can throw the ball, whereas other quarterbacks know the patterns of the play well enough where they know exactly if the snap comes, they take 4 steps back, set themselves, they know exactly where the ball goes. So they don't have to see anybody. They literally know through the progressions. They've done the drill that many times where it's snap, step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, pause, pump, throw.
And weirdly, and you probably never hear me put this player up there as something like that. Weirdly, I'd probably say Dak Prescott is one of those quarterbacks.
Definitely.
You
I
can
think
see it.
the thing with Dak Prescott is that I think he had that. I'm trying to think of the best way to word this. He probably had that side of his game allowed to him because when he was signed, he was obviously signed as a third string.
Yeah.
So he wasn't even the backup to Romo when he first went in. He was literally the third string quarterback that they took a chance on in the draft of, I can't remember when they drafted him, 2015 maybe. And all basically, as I'd imagine, most third string quarterbacks in the NFL, all they do, study the playbook.
Yeah.
Study the playbook, go through the repetitions and stuff like that. Probably practice your holding, because you might be a placeholder for kicks and things like that. So work on your handling skills. But other than that, all you've got to do is basically just go through the playbook until you know it.
And do your little dance.
Front to back. Your little twitch and stuff like that. But I think he probably he has that in his locker because he'll just practiced it over and over and over again. Exactly.
You're getting paid to do a job that you're not doing.
Yeah. It must be so strange to be a backup quarterback in the NFL when, I mean...
Suited and booted every week
so,
and never play a game.
Case in point, I can't think of his first name. Oh, Brian Hoyer. So for the last, 3 seasons he's been Brady's backup, and he's now gone to the Colts. So he's had to play his first games in however many years because Brissett was injured earlier in the season.
Yeah.
And you could see that he's not used to playing week in, week out.
No.
So you can see that he's rusty and stuff like that. So it's a bit strange, but there's certain positions in the NFL just absolutely baffle me because the punter, for example, literally all you do is come on. Every couple of minutes. You come on and you basically
kick a ball as hard as you can.
You're instructed, but sometimes it's not even about that, is it?
No.
Sometimes if you're trying to pin them in an area and you're punting from say the 40, you've got to try and get it up, but then down in enough time where you've got to factor in the roll because obviously it's not a round ball; it's an oval shaped ball, so it's going to roll differently. Such a weird position skill and stuff like that.
Cheeky onside kick and all that.
Oh God, they're so weird. I think I don't know if it was covered on Red Zone, but I think it was the Bengals. I think the Bengals went for an onside kick. Randy Bullock kicked it. It went 5 yards, and everyone just watched as the ball spun. Because it's just like, well, we can't touch it because it hasn't gone 10 yards, and the Patriots might as well not bother picking it up because we're going to tackle them straight away. So we'll just all stand here and watch it spin, shall we?
It was like they were gathered around a campfire.
Still spinning, lads. Randy, what the fuck did you do to this ball? Still spinning. Ah, there we go. It stopped. Right, we can start again. Just a really, really strange sport.
Yeah, in a lot of ways, there are a lot of it. Sort of like, it's just strange. It's just strange.
It is.
As I mentioned, we've got some juicy stats this week. Juicy. And by juicy, I just mean that there is a lot of them.
Juicy, loosey,
goosey. Two. Now then. It's one of those. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that they've been provided to the stats mistress in the usual way.
Doesn't say the words Nate Davies under
But no, but it doesn't look the same. I think it might have been done using different methods. Let's presume, shall we?
Using nefarious methods.
I don't think it was all that nefarious. We'll throw out the thanks to the stats mistress, and we'll throw out the props to Nate Davis of USA Today. If it's not you, Nate, sorry, and whoever it is, sorry to you for getting you wrong. This is Week 15 NFL stats. There are a lot. Some of them are short, some of them not so much. Oh, maybe there aren't that many. I've just seen that the numbering jumps. Oh no, it only jumps at the end. Let's just start, shall we? This week, Chicago, the NFC North champion in 2018, was officially eliminated from playoff contention. So were the Broncos. No huge surprises that the Broncos gone out, but if you compare this season's Bears to last season's Bears, I mean,
a shell. However, to give him a bit of credit, Trubisky has looked a lot better in the last 4 or 5 weeks.
At the back end of the season,
he's starting to make you think that maybe there is a quarterback in there somewhere.
I mean, it'll be interesting to see next season, like if they get a good run at the start, who they pick up in the off season, so on and so forth. Number 2, if Sunday was Eli Manning's final start at home, what a performance! He threw 3 interceptions against the Dolphins. Manning has now served up a pick to every NFL franchise except the Giants. Yet, with the help of 2 touchdown throws, he railed New York to a 36-20 victory, evening his career record to 117. Manning also helped avert the first 10-game losing streak in Giants history. I mean, I think the start of that stat says it all. I don't see Eli Manning playing American football next season.
You'd be very surprised. I mean, surely he's at the point now where even if someone offered to trade for him, he's not going to uproot his family for 1 year. So you'd imagine that if he does, he would have to not commute, but he'd just basically be living there for a very short amount of time. And then, obviously...
Could be one of those that he gets picked up as a backup somewhere.
Yeah, but would it be the sort of thing where... would you move across the city to the Jets just so you can back up Sam Darnold? I don't know. If it's offered to him. But if he's going to do that, I mean, why he might as well just back up
whoever
Dan Jones.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. This answers our question from earlier. Number 3. In the wake of their 34-13 win at Cincinnati, the Patriots are playoff bound for the 11th consecutive season, the longest string in league history. Our next stat is also connected. Tom Brady connected for 2 touchdown passes Sunday, giving him 538 in his 20-year career, 1 shy of Peyton Manning's all-time record. Drew Brees managed to step in first and overtook Manning's record, connecting for 4 touchdown passes on Monday night against the Colts. What was nice to see was that they basically took an actual physical break in the game to celebrate that, and all the players sort of gathered around him, like giving him hugs and stuff. But yeah, I mean, stuff like that's nice. It's nice they take the time out. Number 5, the Rams lost at Dallas. No, I'm going to start that one again. The Rams' loss at Dallas allowed the 49ers, Seahawks and Packers to all officially secure playoff berths. I was saying to you earlier that I'd commented on a post on Facebook page about how the Cowboys definitely weren't going to win in that game. It's always nice to see that the Rams can really fuck me over at every available opportunity. Number 6. Nice to see that the Eagles and Cowboys both now sit tied atop the division with 7-7 records. Will apparently decide the NFC East race on the field when they meet in Week 16. That's
Correct.
A very interesting matchup there.
Yeah, we'll come to that one later on because that's pretty much done and dusted if it goes one way, but it leaves things very open if it goes another.
Yeah.
Potentially.
Number 7, the Tennessee Titans might have blown their season Sunday. They entered the day tied for the AFC South lead with the Houston Texans and were clearly the hotter team. Houston's win not only conferred outright possession of first place, the Texans also clinched a better division record than the Titans, who can no longer win the AFC South unless they win their final 2 games and Houston lose both, including a Week 17 rematch with Tennessee. That just seems to have fallen really weird.
Yeah, the way the end of the season comes is that they always wait it so your last game is against a divisional rival, which is weird because at the start of the season most teams play a divisional rival, so you've obviously got to stretch it over the course of, because there's only 6 games that you'll play within your division because you play the other 3 teams twice, home and away. So sometimes you've got to stretch out over the course of 17 weeks, and then they just go, well. But it's happened before where you see teams that will play each other twice in the space of 3 weeks.
Yeah.
I can't remember that there was. I think it was at the not the Cowboys. It might have been the Panthers and Buccaneers played each other quite close together earlier in the season. But yeah, you do see it every now and again, but it's still strange.
Number 8, bravo, Travis Kelce, the first tight end in NFL history to compile 4 consecutive seasons with 1,000 receiving yards.
I get the feeling that
He still can't find love.
no, I think he can now, can't he?
Can he?
But yeah, he's. You'd imagine that if he keeps going on the sort of pace that he's on, he'll go down as a better tight end than Gronk. Depending on trophy, well,
Obviously,
championships won and stuff.
Gronk's been named
to the all-time team. I did see
all
that.
time as one of the tight ends, and then they announced it, and then like on the NFL page on Facebook, they were showing a video of like some of the best plays that he ever had. And I watched it and was like, fucking hell, he was awesome. And all I could think was, what would the Patriots give at this point in time to have him back?
Mm-hmm.
Number 9, Christian McCaffrey surpassed 2,000 yards from scrimmage, which might be more common than you think. It's the 68th time it's happened in a single season, though no Panther had managed it previously. Again, McCaffrey also surpassed 90 catches for the second time, making him only the second running back, along with Larry Centers, to do it twice. He needs 14 more to break the record, 107. He set last year for most by a back in one season.
Yeah, he's over 1,000 yards rushing. So, quick bit of maths. Bear with me. So, he is on 1,307 yards rushing for the season. So that must mean that he has at least 700 receiving yards. Probably more. So there was something like he needs another, let's say, 200 receiving yards. There's a figure that he needs to basically get to 1,000 and 1,000.
Mm.
And it was a case of, you'd imagine that that's basically the only thing the Panthers are going to be playing for now, is to get him that achievement. Because there's only a couple of people in history that have gotten 1,000 yards rushing, 1,000 yards receiving in the same season.
And with the season that the Panthers have had, they need something.
You'd imagine
to
they
be
want
proud of.
something to look to strive for. So
I mean, look at where they were.
They've got
Jesus.
a tough off season because they need to sort out a lot of things.
I've said it a few weeks running now, but I've literally just set the team on fire and start again. Number 11. Is Lamar Jackson the greatest dual threat player in the NFL's 100 seasons? That certainly reads as a grandiose statement. But he's already set the record for the most rushing yards by a quarterback in one season, 1,103.
Forgot to say that at the beginning. That was something else that had happened this week, but it's obviously covered in the stats. So.
Has accounted for 40 touchdowns, 33 passing and 7 rushing, and needs 111 more yards through the air to become the first man in league history to pass for 3,000 and rush for 1,000 in a single campaign.
Wow.
That was the thing I was going to bring up. So there's that thing that Lamar Jackson has more rushing yards this season than Tom Brady has in his entire career.
I mean, that's insane, isn't it? That is absolutely ridiculous.
Insane.
But I mean, that's the thing. If you're a mobile quarterback, why not? Why not use your legs to your ability?
Absolutely.
It's just another...
the most impressive quarterbacks of the last 5-10 years have been quarterbacks that actually run. Russell Wilson spent all
mobile
that time
pocket,
just running around, and people are like, what's he doing?
That's the thing. If you can extend the play, then you're giving yourself more chance to get receivers wide open, I suppose. Yeah. So, good string to have.
You see those plays where they drop out of the pocket and then start drifting across the field. 9 times out of 10 could find someone to throw the ball to. If they'd have stayed in the pocket, they'd have never found that.
Yeah.
12. The star of the Cardinals' win over the Browns was running back Kenyon Drake, who scored 4 touchdowns Sunday. First time he's tasted victory in 2019. Drake has split this season between Miami and Arizona. 13. The AFC North champion Ravens need 170 more rushing yards to become just the 3rd team to amass 3,000 in a season. 14. Baltimore needs 336 more to break the single season record of 3,165 set by the 1978 Patriots. 15. Who needs Mike Evans when you have Brashad Perriman? First round bust in Baltimore, Perriman shone Sunday with 313 receiving yards and 3 scores for the Bucs. It was the first multi-touchdown game of his career and first time he hit the century mark. Right. I've seen 2 things today that they're not in the stats because they're not stats. It's just about players that have moved. Let's say 16. Rookie running back Miles Sanders banged out 122 yards on the ground in Philadelphia's victory at Washington, snapping the Eagles' streak of 42 games without a 100-yard rusher. 17. Falcons rookie. We had this last week. Olamide
Zacchaeus.
Yeah, that's it. Has only touched the ball twice this season. One, a 93-yard touchdown catch, and Sunday, a fumble recovery for a touchdown. Well done.
Was that the one that was on the last play?
Yeah.
I think that was on the last play of the game where they tried to lateral all the time and then they just basically got shafted and picked up and returned.
This was another thing that popped up. Number 18, congrats to Adrian Peterson. 14,102 career rushing yards, who bumped one Hall of Famer Curtis Martin out of the league's top 5 all-time leading rushers Sunday, while also trying another Hall of Famer, Peyton, for 4th all-time with his 110th rushing touchdown. 19. Is it 19? Yeah, it is. Nice game management by Atlanta coach Dan Quinn. Good name. To end the Falcons' upset for the 49ers. after wide receiver Julio Jones just broke the plane for a go-ahead touchdown and a 23-22 margin with 2 seconds to play. Quinn wisely went for 2 and had Matt Ryan kneel with the ball rather than invite the possibility that an opportunistic Niners defense might take a turnover the other way for 2 games swing.
Sensible.
Apparently so. Number 20, Sunday night marked the first game since 1927 where 3 brothers played in the same NFL game between the Steelers and the Bills. Congrats, Mama Edmonds. 21, the 57-yard run by Tennessee's Jonnu Smith was the longest by a tight end since the Jets' Rich Caster got loose for 60 back in 1976.
That is very much an NFL stat.
That's an NFL stat for you. And finally, maybe it was inevitable, but sad to see Raiders' once promising season completely go down in flames during their final home game in Oakland. Those are our stats for week 15.
So there is one thing that wasn't covered in that. So that was the 3rd loss that the Niners have had this season. All 3 losses have come on the last play of the game.
Yeah.
I know there was the kick-off afterwards, but so technically it wasn't the last play of the game, but it was, to all intents and purposes, the last play of the game, because obviously they had the kick-off and then they returned for the touchdown, but the game was over.
And this is the thing about the seeding. They went from 1st to 5th.
It's crazy, isn't it?
It's like, how is that even possible?
It's insane.
Like I say, something that, like I say, it's not a stat. It's just something that I'd seen today. 2 player changes. One is T Sizzle has gone to the Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a weird thing. He just keeps popping up. The fact that he's still playing is nothing short of a miracle. He just keeps popping up and going on. He's played for really good teams.
It'll be interesting because if the Chiefs play the Ravens in the AFC Championship game,
yep, he'll be after a slice on that game, won't he? And the other thing I saw, which was
just imagine him just trying to absolutely kill Lamar Jackson. It's going to be hilarious.
The other thing I saw, which was one of those a little unfortunate, Josh Gordon has been suspended.
Indefinitely as well.
Indefinitely suspended. I think the general feeling is it's a bit of that's a real shame. But somebody had sort of kind of hit the nail on the head by saying you pick up a player who has a long-standing history of substance abuse who gets suspended for substance abuse.
It is a shame, but
anything like that is always a shame. You know, I know that certain careers and certain paths take you down certain routes. I know there have been players who have criticised the NFL itself in a lot of ways. Hopefully he can get the help he needs, and that'll be that. Anything else you've got popping out from week 15?
Nothing specific. I mean, nothing particularly interesting. Just that the leading passer in the league is Jameis Winston.
Yeah.
With 4,573 yards. Yeah, I'm almost certain he's also got the highest turnover.
Yeah. They were saying it on Red Zone. They were like, we don't really know what to do with this player. He's got the highest...
He's a straight...
It's like he's trying to hit all of the stats.
You'd imagine so. It's got to the point now where... They showed up the book stats, and they're at 7-7. That's just happened out of nowhere.
Yeah.
So you'd imagine at this point he's done enough to convince Arians that he's worth rolling with for one more season.
Another season, I think. I know they'll have to work hard with him in the off season and stuff.
I had a quick look today to see. Well, technically, I was actually looking at because WrestleMania next year is in the Tampa Stadium.
All right.
And I was just having a quick look around and stuff like that, and it turns out that I think the Super Bowl after this year is in Tampa. So next season, if the Bucks get things right, they could potentially break the streak of no home team ever getting to the Super Bowl in their own stadium.
Yeah. I think,
which would be pretty cool.
For me, that's a team where, when it comes to pre-season, he should be the quarterback playing those pre-season games. There's a team that should be sending out their A-list players and going, get those extra couple of games under your belt, knock the rust off, get it going.
Yes, but you always have that potential of injuries and things like that.
Yeah.
I mean, especially if you're playing against like third string, like defensive line who don't usually sort of play, so putting a little bit extra into the reps and stuff like that. Plus, if he's going to be running a lot behind an offensive line that's not regular starters, he's probably not as well protected. So there is pros and cons to either side of suggesting it that way, I suppose. But like I say, you could probably do with the extra reps.
At this point in time, we would normally talk about fantasy football, but I don't want to, because I hate fantasy football. Not one, but 2 leagues I went out of the playoffs this week.
Oh, Andrew. Oh,
Not one.
Andrew.
Not one, no. 2 leagues I went out of the playoffs this week. My trophy will be winging its way to Shea Rafton, I imagine. Think about that statement when you look at our league.
Yeah, that's pretty outrageous.
I don't want to do it. I don't want to talk about it. It's not fair. It's not fair.
Would have, do you know what? It would have been nice to be able to say
me versus you for the playoff.
Good luck for the next 2 weeks. It would have been good to have
I
said.
felt that's the way it should have gone.
Just for this, if nothing else.
Absolutely.
Because it had made this.
Yeah. Because, I mean, come next week and we're like, are you playing fantasy football? I don't care. Like, literally, I was having a conversation downstairs and I was like, I've had a notification that Evan Ingram has been put on IR. I was like, I could drop him. I was like, that's right. It doesn't matter anymore.
Well,
you talk about it. It matters to you.
You may have deduced from that little nugget that I was on the other end of the spectrum. Not in that way.
Don't use that word.
However, where Andy failed or was unsuccessful, we'll go with that. We'll go with that as opposed to failed.
Where
Andy was unsuccessful, I was very successful, and I won my semi-final against the Stats Mistress. Therefore, moving on to the final, where I will play podcast alum, league member, all-round gentleman, James Forrester Gray, who did put the beating to me in week 13 of the regular season. So, does he have the upper hand? Who knows? This is the problem of this is that this is where we start to see some shithousery from teams that rest players that are already that are already qualified for the playoffs.
This is the thing.
Can afford to rest players.
This is actually the worst point of the season from a team perspective, because you've got your team, you've had them the entire way through the fantasy season, and then you get, this week we're not starting our quarterback, we're starting our third string. This week we're sitting this running back. That person's quote unquote injured for a week. It's all of that, and what started out as a great fantasy football team, you're scrambling for shit players just to make up a team at points in time.
Yep.
I had a horrible tight end issue. I just couldn't keep a healthy tight end, and I couldn't pick up anybody tight end position is just devoid of anything. As you've said, you move on to the playoffs. 2 more weeks of scores. I drop into the consolidation bracket. To play...
Winners' consolation bracket, I believe it is actually referred to.
To play the Stats Mistress for... Oh, that's right, absolutely nothing.
0.
For nothing, it doesn't matter. None of it matters anymore. It's one of those... I'm proper gutted because this is the furthest I got in the big league. In all the season we've been doing it. Also for the first full year of this incarnation of the mini league, and I won the mini league last season. I will not taste victory this season in that, so I'm very, very unhappy.
So speaking of our larger league, got a message from someone today at work. Opening with, is this the first time I've not been in the winners bracket of the playoffs since we started doing this? And I was like, how am I supposed to know that? And I was like,
the answer's yes.
And as it turns out, we think it is.
Yeah.
Because he's won it twice.
Yep.
And he's convinced that he lost in the playoffs the 2 seasons he didn't win it.
Yep.
To Tim and Matt, who went on to win.
Yep.
So there you go. So there will be a new name on the trophy that doesn't exist in our league, regardless of who wins. It will either be the creator, the founder, the mother, if you will. As I birthed, I created the league and all of its splendour. Or it will be a latecomer, if you will. A non-OG member.
No,
if you will. Oh, was he an original member?
No.
No, I think he was a second year edition, wasn't he?
Another thing you were saying about like the league, which obviously makes you think of the league, but no league in the off season. It's no longer on Netflix. I looked at buying it. It's really expensive.
Is it on? Is it not on Netflix at all?
Went off Netflix. You can. I think you can have it on Amazon Prime.
Right. Okay.
If you buy it.
That's unacceptable.
It is because it's really expensive.
This is not acceptable.
But I toyed with the idea. I was like, oh, maybe because if I buy it, then I've got it. Because that was always the routine. Cry for a week about the fact that there's no games that Sunday. Then cry for another week going, there's still no games. It's the 7 stages of grief. You have to go through all of that to get to the point where you find
bargaining.
Yeah. There was the. Do you remember the year that between me and the Stats Mistress we created a fantasy football? It was an Excel spreadsheet that would it had coded in it so you could generate teams and stuff so you could keep playing fantasy football in the off season. Oh yeah.
We'll start doing an arena football league or whatever it is.
Get the NBA going.
Oh, we'll start doing that. Yeah.
I had a reminder on the app today. It's like, do you guys get in the NBA on the off season? I was like, yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
If you've not got anything else from that point in time,
no. But if he's listening, good luck, James. May the best.
Good luck, James. May the best team win. I couldn't comment on the man side of it. Now then, we're going to talk about predictions. We're going to talk about Week 15 predictions, and I'm telling you right here and now, ladies and gentlemen, Week 15's predictions are hands down.
Is it historical?
The best week of predictions.
Historical week.
It looked early doors like we were going to get a perfect record, or somebody was going to get a perfect record, and I will say that so far down, that was looking super likely, and then somebody dropped out of the running. Mr. Woodmancy was here as our guest. You
wasn't
guys
it?
know the way we do it. Me and Mr. Williams go up against each other every single week. And then we have a guest. And that guest gets a pick. And it's me and him versus each other and versus the guest. Don't know how that's going to work at the end for the scores. Don't really care. We pick the teams. The guest picks. We do it like that. Everyone's happy. Mr. Woodmancy last week said, you do realise that we've basically picked the same thing. Well, no. You pointed out that me and Stu had picked exactly the same picks. Wasn't going to work if, at the end, me and Stu were neck and neck. Tied, some might say. Mr. Woodmancy, straight in there. Well, pick'ems do a thing where you have to pick a score difference. And on the first game of the week, you pick a score difference. And that is like...
Your tiebreaker.
A tiebreaker. Do we think it might come down to a tiebreak? Let's find out.
Wow.
So, of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
16.
It's 16. It's 16 games. At this point in the season, it's always 16 games. Of 16 games, how many people broke double figures?
All three.
All three is correct. In no particular order. Paul
But in a
Williams,
very particular order.
11 points.
Is that it? Is that it? Is that it? My God.
That's 11 out of 60. It was pretty good going. You were the first faller. However, immediately in the next game, picked your point back up. Whereas, because you went different to me and Stu and got it wrong. And then in the next game, me and Stu were different to you and you got your point back.
So that would have been...
The Dolphins-Giants game. You went for the Dolphins and we went for the Giants.
I see.
Pick'ems went weird, which meant that the next game wasn't the next game when the scores came through. You were the only person to pick the Texans. So you lost a point and gained it back within a game of each other. So, Mr. Williams, your end score for the week is 11. Next name down on the list is myself, Mr. Cook. My ending score for the week was 11.
Right.
Stuart Woodmancy, his ending score for the week was 11.
Son of a bitch. So it comes down to who had...
Tie-break situation.
So, it was... So it was the score differential between the Jets and the Ravens, I believe. Now, did that finish 42-21?
Yeah, it did. What I can tell you is that one member of our little troop correctly predicted...
It was fucking him, wasn't it?
The score. Correctly.
Son of a bitch.
Not a point either side. Not a couple of points either side. Correctly predicted the score. Started at the lowest with 14 points. Stuart Woodmancy. Started going to the highest with 30 points.
Fuck, it was me. Damn it.
Paul Williams.
No! No!
Somebody said a 21 point difference in that game, and that would be this week's winner, Mr. Cook. I think
I'm going to check that score because I think there may have been some garbage time.
I think that might pull somebody into the lead. But we don't need to discuss that. What we do need to discuss is Week 16 of the 2019 NFL season. Week 16's guest is the Stats Mistress. I feel we've fallen on the guests this season. Remember last season when we had a different guest? Sometimes 2 a week. This has not gone that way. First game, again, as always, I've taken this from Pick'em, and apparently Pick'em can decide to change the games. I don't know how it works. But first game of the week is the Texans versus the Buccaneers. Stats Mistress has gone Bucks.
Now this is a Saturday game.
Yes, so we should cover that. This is the first of 3 Saturday games, because I don't know if you know or not, but it is the week before Christmas. You do know that because you'll be listening to this
And not a,
on Thursday.
And all through the house, not a creature was what?
I mean, that's unlikely in this house. Fucking creatures everywhere.
Creature.
I'm joining the Stats Mistress on this one. I think the Bucks are going to pull this one out of the bag. Mr. Williams.
So what you're saying is that 2 of you have picked against the Texans, similar to last week. So, in a recreation of last week,
You're going Texans?
I absolutely will pick the Texans.
You're right. The second of the Saturday games, Bills versus the Patriots.
Fucking good game.
Mm.
Always, up until now, I always thought this was in Buffalo. As it turns out, absolutely in New England.
It is.
That changes things slightly.
Okay. It's 2 picks for Patriots at this point in time.
Buffalo Bills.
I knew you were going to go this way.
Do you know why?
Because if there's one team that the Patriots struggle with, it's the Bills.
It's not even that. I just think that the Bills have looked... The 2 biggest tests they've had put in front of them, they've passed with the best... Well, not passed with flying colours because they got beaten one of the games, but they beat the Cowboys away. They beat the Steelers away.
Yeah.
I think they can go into New England and do a number on the Patriots because the Patriots have not looked good all season.
Yeah, and how strange is that to say? Rams 49ers. This is another one of those that we had this game like just a couple of weeks ago or something.
It's in San Fran.
It is.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a 49ers win.
Oh, absolutely going to be a 49ers win. That's 49ers across the board. Jaguars Falcons.
We've now moved on to Sunday's games. Jags Falcons.
Yeah.
Falcons coming off a big win. Falcons.
Stats Mistress would agree with you. I would also agree because I don't think that the Jaguars can do anything
Apart from ruin a lovely farewell in Oakland.
Well, yeah. Ravens Browns. Is anybody picking the Browns in this?
Beat them earlier in the season.
Yeah.
Could be one of those games where the Ravens decide, is it worth taking the risk with Lamar?
Bench him.
Maybe drop him. Let's have a look in the seedings wise. How much cushion they've got. They currently have the best record at 12-2. The Patriots are at 11-3. I think if the Patriots lose to the Bills, I think that gives the Ravens the number 1 seed regardless. Because they can finish 12-4, and the Patriots will only be able to go 12-4, and the Ravens have beaten the Patriots. So they would automatically have the tiebreaker over the Patriots. And I don't think anyone else can get to 12. No, the Chiefs can get to 12 and 4. I don't know why I'm bouncing around this. Just put me down for the Ravens, for fuck's sake.
I mean, I do get it. I think what would be an interesting upset would be for the Browns to beat them.
Technically, the Browns are still alive in the playoff race. They can still get in at 8-8. They're hoping for a bit of help. They need to beat the Steelers and hope the Steelers then lose to the Ravens in the last week.
Which is
Browns Steelers is the Ravens' last 2 games. So you're kind of hoping that the Browns will be hoping they can beat the Ravens and that the Ravens can beat the Steelers, and that nothing untoward goes on with Tennessee. Strange. So
Panthers versus Colts, or as I like to say,
Jesus
Christian
Christ.
McCaffrey versus the Colts.
I don't like either of those two.
It's a 50-50 in this house.
That really is.
I've gone Colts. The
Colts
Statsminister's gone
Colts
Panthers.
eliminated from the playoffs.
Yeah.
As of last night.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God. Just due to the fact that the Colts are at home, I'll go with the Colts.
I'm going with the Colts because Marlon Mack's going to have absolute wilder. Bengals versus Dolphins.
Oh God, there are some fucking dross games
Yeah, it's an absolute shit
towards
show.
the end of the season.
Again, it's 50-50 in this house. I've
got Ryan Fitzpatrick as my quarterback.
gone Dolphins. I feel like the Dolphins have been dicking around most of the season, but I feel like they've been dicking around, and every now and then they'll be like, "Oh, let's play, come on."
Fuck it, it's in Miami. Give me the Dolphins.
Really? Fins up. Steelers Jets.
Steel curtain, baby.
50-50 in this house. I'm with you. Steelers, baby. Saints Titans. 2 picks for the Saints so far.
Tennessee have looked alright, but I think they'll have way too much from.
I wonder whether they will bench Drew.
Nah, they can still get the top seed if they win out and stuff like that, so they need to win all their games, really. As it stands, they're only the 3rd seed. And Green Bay are playing against Minnesota, so they'll be hoping that Minnesota win that one, which ties up the NFC North and then pushes them up into the seeding. So Breeze will play the rest of the season.
Giants Redskins. Ooh.
Jesus.
It's 50-50 split so far. I've gone Redskins. Stats Mistress has gone Giants.
Yeah, the Skins have been putting a few results together recently. They looked alright against the Eagles as well.
Yeah, they
did.
did.
For the Skins.
Lions versus the Broncos.
Are there any good games on this week?
No.
Well, there is. It's on Monday. Packers.
Vikings.
Yeah, the rest of them are all terrible.
Yeah.
Lions Broncos, which is weird when you consider it's towards the end of the season. You would have thought like the games would be better. Lions Broncos. The Lions have lost something ridiculous, like 9 straight. Stick me down for the Lions.
It's one of those, and it's not surprising the games are shit at this point, because once we do officially go into the playoffs, the theory would be that the best teams are going to be in the playoffs.
True.
The Raiders versus the Chargers. Me and the Stats Mistress cannot agree on a single game this week.
This is a tough one.
Give you a little clue on my pick.
Yeah, I've seen it. I saw it earlier. Although I'm pretty sure he won't be playing.
No, he secretly retired, didn't he?
So the Chargers are at home, but that means absolutely nothing.
I mean, the Chargers have been fucking terrible this season.
Raiders.
Good lad. I heard something, I think it was one of the commentators saying that they don't feel that the Raiders have played bad this season, they've just been unlucky. Cowboys, Eagles.
I'll take it back. This is a good game.
So it's everything.
Just because
it's an everything to play for situation.
Just because it's basically going to settle who wins the NFC East.
Yeah.
So the Eagles are only just scraped through against the Skins, whereas the Cowboys were dominant over the Rams. And the Rams had looked good in the week before.
They had, but jeez, I mean, it was a pound.
I've ridden them all season, so I'll stick with the Cowboys.
Cardinals, Seahawks.
Seahawks.
That's a clean sweep there. Chiefs, Bears.
Chefs.
Clean sweep. And finally, Packers versus the Vikings.
Easily the best game of the week.
It is.
Well, Patriots Bills could give it a run for its money, to be fair.
Yeah.
Vikings at home are a bit of a different animal to the Vikings away, so stick me down for the Vikings, please.
Oh, you've gone against the grain here. What I will say is, that was very interesting on Pick'em. A massive number towards the Vikings on that.
Plenty of Vikings at
I was
home.
a bit surprised.
It seems to be the thing. The Vikings at home are very, very heavily favoured at the minute because they just seem to perform loads better than they do away.
Some teams just don't travel well.
No, very true. I believe
that brings us to the end.
I believe it does, Andrew.
Good luck to you, Mr. Williams, going into the official playoffs. Good luck to Rob Rafton and Harriet de Berg. Good luck to JFG. All of those are the playoffs for the leagues that I am involved in. Obviously, I'm not involved in the playoffs.
You can't have all, Andrew. You can't have it all.
Can't have any of it either. We need to decide about next week, but you don't need to know that.
We'll discuss that off air.
That'll be us.
So you'll either see us here or
you won't.
You won't see us
You'll
here.
see me on my own.
Correct.
Doing
so,
stats.
Until then, you stay classy.
Laces out. Obviously, if we see you, cool. If we don't, have a good Christmas.
Bye.
Bye. So there you go. What do you think of that? Another one done. How are you getting on in your fantasy league? Did you go through to the playoffs? YouTube watchers, make sure YouTube subscribers like, share, comment. Everybody jump over to thecookiecast.com, send us some love over there and all the good stuff. Let us know how you're getting on. All of that. Until next week, I'm going to say bye and I'll see you then.